welcome to iSEE109. I'm the host, Larry, and I'm going to go through a number of questions and a number of details, all of which the list of questions or the list of details I posted to my Instagram, iSEE109, and I'd like to elaborate on them. I've said it in many different videos, many different ways, but it's not that I am fixated on these ideas. It's that I want to express them, and I want to improve the expression of these ideas and these details that I've noticed. And I want to tell my story, and I want to improve upon telling my story. So that's what this is. It's a practice. It's an exercise. So if you're meeting my channel now, if this is the first time that you're watching my video, then, welcome to the journey. Welcome to my journey, and I hope you enjoy the stories that I tell. All right? So I'm enlisting the help of my lovely wife. She's off camera, and she will be talking. She thinks that she's not going to participate in this, but she's helping me tremendously through this process. Okay, so that same list that I wrote and posted to Instagram, she has in her hands. And so what I expect her to do is just read each line, and then I will elaborate briefly on each line to give some more detail. So that's what we're doing. So welcome, and let's begin. Randy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
That's what's up.
Okay, so born on October 9th, 1979 at 8:24 p.m.
There we go. All right, so this is where the story of iSEE109 begins, on our birthday, right? I knew exactly what was going to happen throughout my entire life at that point in time. I did not, of course. Nobody knows, right? But that's, that was the date, 10/9. October 9th, that was the day I was born. And just the story of iSEE109 is just the story of how one's birthday gains a level of significance through its interpretation, through the interpretation or through the understanding of the meaning of some simple numbers that correlate to one's birthday. In this case, it's my birthday, 10/9. So, okay. But everything, that is the starting point, the birthday, okay? The day on which one was born.
March 6th, 2007, relocated to South Korea.
Okay. All right. That's what happened. I moved to South Korea. South Korea was the very first international location or destination I ever traveled to. I was 27 years old. At the time, I had never traveled. Let me see. Where I traveled prior to that was all within the United States. So I went across country with my mom and my dad. And we'd been to Florida. We had been to a number of states, Nevada, Florida, Georgia, and I think even Oklahoma. That was pretty much it. That was the extent of my travel until 2007 when I flew. I just decided I'm going to go to Korea, South Korea. Now I needed a job. I needed to work, and they hired me, so I didn't have to worry about work for one whole year because I was a contract employee in South Korea, so that worked out for me.
Cool, okay. My first friend and neighbor in South Korea shares birthday.
Okay, so this is what happened to me. This is a part of the genesis of iSEE109. So South Korea becomes my new home, and I start to realize the importance of 10/9 in South Korea. Subtly, right? It kind of snowballs. But first, the very first friend I made was a New Zealander. His name was Luke. He and I were the same age. We were born on the same day, same year, everything. And we were neighbors. All right. I was able to get in contact with Luke because you see, I was the replacement for another English teacher in South Korea. His name was Julian. Hey, Julian, what's up, man? And Julian was gracious enough to leave sort of some breadcrumbs for me to follow. He left for me information about which groups, which people to contact, telephone numbers. He was very helpful in establishing, in helping me establish myself in a new country, because he gave me all of that support and a list of friends, names and contact information, and it included Luke. And Luke and I just happened coincidentally to be born on the same day. 8/24 is the time at which I was born. 8/24. And I'm going to get into numerology a little bit and talk about it, but 8/24, do those numbers ring a bell? Los Angeles Laker, Kobe Bryant, his number first was 8 and then it became 24. So 8/24, that was the time I was born. All right. Excuse me.
Okay, I learned that October 9th is also a national holiday.
All right. So in South Korea, as I mentioned, this is going to snowball. So first, I learned about Luke. We share that that coincidence, that same birthday. But then the next thing that happened is Luke and I learned that our birthday fell on or shared the same day as a Korean national holiday. That was very cool because that was a very cool coincidence, a parallel, a synchronicity, because that told me, or that inspired me to continue to learn the Korean language. So one of my goals in moving to Korea, in addition to working, was to learn to speak the Korean language. So I kind of stuck my chest out. I'm like, hey, my birthday is on the day on which you guys celebrate the Korean language. That gives me even more reason to study this language. Kind of, sort of, but not really. But yeah, it was a special coincidence, a special synchronicity, one that I learned, and it was all good after that.
Okay, by 2015, I noticed 10:9 and 1:09 on clock multiple times.
Okay, so I remember, my life was very unstable when I lived in Korea. Different jobs, different situations. It's not easy. It's not easy for a person of color. It's not easy for a non-Korean. It's not even easy for a Korean in Korea. But anyway, so my life was changing. My work schedule was erratic. I had a job, but I might work. My schedule would change. Specifically, in 2010, between 2010 and 2014, I was teaching at a university, and every semester, my schedule would change. So, and I wasn't one of the favorite teachers, so my schedule sucked. Sometimes I would wake up at 9 in the morning to make a 10 a.m. class, or that'd be on a Monday, and then on Tuesday I might have a 1 p.m. class. So, and then throughout the week, by the end of the week, when you're ready to go home and you're tired, you want to get your classes done as soon as possible, early in the morning on a Friday, so you can enjoy the rest of your Friday and the rest of the weekend. In my case, I didn't get that luxury. I was teaching at like 5 p.m. on Fridays, and I was like, wow. And some other teachers were finished by noon on Fridays, okay? So, things were erratic for me, they were changing. So it didn't matter if I had a funky schedule one semester. The next semester I had an equally funky schedule. But here's the thing. Throughout the week, for whatever reason, I would find that, I might be going to a class that starts at 10, and during that class, I might, wonder. My mind might begin to wander, and I would say, hey, what time is it? How am I doing teaching this lesson? I might check my watch, and I would notice, hey, I just checked it at 10:09. Okay, or it might be 1:09, but this was just a habit that I developed. I would just happen to look at my watch, and there it would be 10:09 or 1:09. And for me, that was another moment of synchronicity, a moment that I would notice, and I would say, hey, it's my birthday, 10:09. Okay, so it's snowballing. So my mind went to, if ever I saw 1:09 or 1:009, my mind would immediately go to, hey, that's my birthday, and that's it. That's all that there was behind that at that time. It was just my birthday.
Okay, so these 3 events happened in 2015 on your birthday weekend while in Fukuoka, I always mess that up, Japan, ramen seat number 10. I rode the ferry JF109, that was the number, JF109 from Japan to Korea, and I was assigned seat number 10 on, is it KTX?
Yep, KTX.
Okay.
Korea Train Express. Okay. All right, so as I mentioned, this is going to snowball. So now here it is. The year is 2015, and I left Korea on a short weekend vacation, 3 days, more than 3 days before my birthday. Okay, so I'm already thinking, hey, my birthday is coming. You know, how am I going to celebrate? And I'm alone, right? I'm a solo traveler. All right, and I'm trying to make the most of my life. I'm trying to live the best life, right? Which it's not easy because, you know, I wasn't connected with any groups of travelers, so I didn't have a travel buddy, is what I'm saying. And I was doing this because I was very much alone, because the job that I had, or the job that I held, you know, I didn't have a lot of colleagues I could just say, hey, you know, our schedules match, let's do something. And let's do, and what we are going to do, let that be a trip to Japan, you know. And I wouldn't, it wasn't as if I would have a colleague who was just like, that's a great idea, let's do it. You know, I remember my other colleague would say, that sounds great, but, you know, I've got extra work, I've got bills to pay, and I've got, you know, a family to take care of. So I was caught in that moment. What am I going to do? You know, so I was left alone to make the most of my time. And so I went over to Japan, and about 3 days before my birthday, so I'm already alone in Japan thinking about my birthday. Like, how am I going to celebrate? What am I going to do? Yada, yada, yada. So I got hungry and I went to a local restaurant. I walked into the restaurant. There were several stalls, you know, countertops and with seats and everything. And I ordered my food. They have a machine in Japan. You order your ramen from machines. Those same machines, I think, are here in Los Angeles. But anyway, I ordered my food, and then there was an usher, an attendant, and he ushered me into the restaurant, and he seated me. You know, I didn't tell him where I wanted to sit. He just said, come this way and sit down right here. Boom. As soon as I sit down, I look up and I see the seat number is number 10. Right? I see the number 10, and next to it to the right, I see the number 9, because in Japanese, they write from right to left rather than left to right. So what that means is, rather than read from left to right, reading 9 and then 10, I was reading from right to left, and I saw 10 on the left, and then to the right I saw 9, so 10, 9. So there I was. He ushered me to a seat, 10, 9, and it was like a cool little moment where it was like, he doesn't know what my birthday is, but he just seated me at seat 10, and I look up and I see 10, 9, and I'm already thinking, I'm alone, but I'm also thinking, this is 3 days before my birthday. I'm like, wow, 10, 9, there it is. That's pretty cool. So I'm only thinking about my birthday at that point. So that was the first day. Then the next day or two, I'm about to leave Japan and return to Korea. I'm in Japan. The morning that I'm leaving, I get my ticket to take the ferry across the sea to go back to Korea. And I just happen to study my ticket, and I see JF109 on my ferry ticket. And I'm like, whoa, those are my numbers again. That's my birthday, right? 109, JF109. So I think JF means Japan Ferry 109. So I'm like, hey, there it is again. Wow, look at that. So I snapped a photo, and I actually have that ticket. I still have that ticket in my possession right now to this day. I can just grab that. So that was another thing. I was just alone, a lonely traveler, and I just happened to see, hey, there's 109. Oh, look, there's 109. Oh, seat 10. Wow, that's cool. All right, it's snowballing, y'all, because as soon as I got back to Korea, I had to take the train from one Korean city to the next to get home. So I go to the train station to buy my ticket. Now, when I purchased the ticket, I didn't say anything about, could you seat me in row 10, because I'm feeling myself, I'm feeling this. My birthday is around the corner, just 3 days away. Could you seat me in row 10 so I can look up and read row 10 and 9 and seat 10 and just think about, no, none of that. None of that was even going through my mind. I certainly was thinking of my birthday, but I wasn't thinking along those lines. So I get to the attendant, and I purchase a ticket. She hands me the ticket, and I make my way to the train depot. And I get to the tracks, and I step on the train. First, mind you, the train was empty. I was early. The train was empty. So I decide, okay, let me find out where my seat is. So I look down at my ticket, and I'm like, I'm in row 10. So I'm like, wow, here's 10, the number 10 again. So when I sit down, when I'm looking for my seat, and I find row 10, I look up and I see the same thing that I saw in Japan. I see 10, and then I see 9. And I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't ask her to seat me in row 10. And does she know that I like the numbers 10 and 9? Like, that is a reference to my birthday? Like, how did she choose this row for me? And how is this happening when, the day before, I went to the ramen restaurant, and I was seated in row 10, and then I got on the ferry, and the ferry number was 109 or 109. Like, how is this happening? So anyway, I just took photos to document this stuff, and I just shared it with my friends on Facebook to say, hey, my birthday's not far away. Just trying to remind people, hey, But it was also a very quirky thing that was happening, bizarre, peculiar. Like, why do I keep getting seated in seat 10 or row 10 or why do I see the ferry number 109? What's happening? I didn't look any further than the answer to that was I'm just focused on my birthday. That was my only answer to what was happening to me. It was just, Larry is thinking about his birthday, and he sees his birthday wherever he goes. That's it. That's all that was.
In 2017, I hailed a taxi with license plate number 109XX.
Oh, XX meaning...
The rest of the numbers, got it.
All right, so this time, 2017, I was traveling the world. I went to Sri Lanka from Saudi Arabia, and I was returning from Sri Lanka, going back to Saudi Arabia. When I got back to Saudi Arabia, after my trip to Sri Lanka, I hadn't seen 109. I hadn't seen 109. I just didn't have an experience like that in Sri Lanka. So I kind of thought, maybe I'm cured of this curse. I just happen to focus on these numbers, and maybe it's done. I'm finished. So I go through customs. I go through the baggage claim. I get my bag. I'm at the Saudi Arabian airport, and I'm ready to leave and go home, feeling refreshed after my vacation. And what happens? I hail the cab. Or rather, they have a whole line of cabs, but I was just standing in line, and I was matched with a cab, and the cab license plate was 109 blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So I'm standing there thinking to myself, man, I had a great time in Sri Lanka, and I haven't even seen those numbers. Hey, I was just, I don't know. I was thinking of like, I was just, I was bugging. I was bugging all that time that I saw those numbers. Yeah, this is cool. So, I'm free. I've leveled up. I'm in a better place now, and I don't have to worry about like repeating the same cycle, seeing the same things, and this. Yeah, I was like, I'm free. I'm free. And I turn and I look, and the taxi cab that's next in line that's going to be matched with me, the license plate is 109, yada yada yada. I'm like, whoa, I'm not free. And this is really weird. This is really weird, because had I been 1 minute earlier or 1 minute later, the customer in front of me or the customer behind me might have been matched with that taxi. And I'm like, okay, this is really bizarre. Someone knew that I was arriving at this airport. They coordinated with that taxi driver to wait out there so that I would be matched. I felt like I was Truman in the Truman Show. Like, yo, these things are bizarre. But that is exactly how it happened. So I saw 109 at the airport. That was my taxi. I got home safely, and that was it. I tipped the gentleman. I tipped him. I gave him a nice tip, wished him well on his way, and I just took it as a good sign, a kind of a good omen. I said, that was my taxi. It was meant to be. Something like that.
In 2017, in Mexico, my random Uber played 100.9 radio station.
Okay, Uber driver, I meant.
My
random.
Uber driver.
Oh no, you're right. I did write that. My random Uber played, yeah. By Uber, I meant Uber driver. Yeah. Okay, so that's what happened. I was on my way to the Frida Kahlo Museum. I called Uber. The guy picks me up, drives me to the Frida Kahlo Museum. I'm early. Just before getting out of the car, I'm asking him, how much I owe him or whatever. No, but it's Uber, so I didn't ask him because all the information was on my phone. So anyway, as I'm getting out of the car, I look at his phone, and near his phone I could see the radio dial was set to 100.9, the radio station. So I'm like, doggone it, here it is again, 1009. Now for me, that's still 10-9. Even though 109 is the title of my book, I still see 10-9, even if it's 1009, because I just ignore the second zero as it's just a placeholder. The values of the numbers are still 10 and 9. Plus, if you're going to write your birthday, sometimes you'll write it as 10-09. That would be, in my case, October 9th, or it could be 10-9, right? It could be 10-09, or it could be 10-9, and you have the same value, 10-9, October 9th. All right, I didn't get as far as I wanted to. I'm explaining a lot. This is 25 minutes in, so cut. Peace.
Window seat surfing on the wing. As an adolescent, I dreamed of big things. Climbed to the top of the mountain to see the scene. Petty wap don't want me to have anything. I'm the captain, no jet lag. Boeing jet swag. Floating to the sunset, keep the drinks coming back. She summoned me, gave me turbulence on the sink. Pretty flight attendant boarding pass, I'm a buddy. Stunting first class, vegan meal yummy.